I talk to you guys earlier?
Maybe we have more questions, Mr. Speaker.
We like talking to you so much.
Yeah, sure. Well, second to last week, ended with some big news today, but a lot of productive work. I want to thank both sides, House Republicans, House Democrats, for a really productive week of work, and we're going to finish strong next week. And obviously there's some issues as we work through the last set of bills, but we're excited about how this session is shaping up and coming to a strong conclusion.
Do you anticipate a Friday session at this point?
We will. I anticipate we'll be here on Friday. Last day will be on Friday.
Any holdups that you're expecting because of that? Any specific bills as to why?
No, I just think if you look at the volume of bills, that only gives us 3 days for Conference Committee, and that probably causes all of us a little bit more heartburn. But that's our schedules on short sessions, so we're just trying to get everything ready to go, have those 3 days, get out productively.
Mr. Speaker, the Bears are basically saying that the statement they put out is not necessarily an endorsement of what Indiana's doing. What's the status of all that right now?
I think the Bears have said that that's their statement. I think if you read the second sentence, they've been nothing but forthright, honest. I think there's some people that are probably trying to spin things different ways. They've been terrific partners in all this. I think the second sentence of that statement is pretty clear what their intentions are.
How will the Bears purchase the land? Will they be purchasing it? Will Indiana be giving them a discount for it? How will that work? Because they've already purchased land in Illinois.
Yeah, we're working with the city of Hammond and the Bears and the site that's been identified to secure all the land. I'll basically have that process completed.
How would the ownership of the stadium work? Would the Bears own that, or would
No, it would go. The bill establishes the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority. It'd be the same type of structure that you'd have here, where you would then lease to the tenant, which is what we would do, like we do with Gamebridge and what we do with CIB.
So what I'm taking away from you when it comes to
that's been a sticking point for them in other negotiations. I think one of the reasons that they wanted to do Soldier Field, has that been a sticking point in negotiations?
No, it's been great, and we have a strong structure in place to do this. We can take the structure we have here and move it to Northwest Indiana.
So it kind of sounds like the purchase of everything is still kind of being worked out. There might be a discount, there might not be. Are you guys still ironing out the details when it comes to the actual land?
Yeah, I don't want to get into the specifics on the land, because right now that's going to be, we identified the site as they've noted that. I think the vast majority of the land's been captured and is been secured, but we need to finish up all that, and that's probably what we're working through.
Mr. Speaker, it's likely that the Senate is going to concur with the House's changes to Senate Bill 76, the Immigration Matters Bill. Your thoughts on that upcoming bill?
Well, we worked together with them, with Representative Prescott, Chairman Jeter, worked with Senator Brown on that. Not surprised they concurred. We had a strong vote last week, and it'd be good to get that in state law.
The Senate seems very leery on 1001, that housing bill. It barely made it out of committee yesterday. There were concerns. Are you going to find a compromise on that with just 5 days left?
Yes, and we had great meetings. Appreciate their concerns. We've been working with the stakeholder groups. Had a great meeting last night, actually, with the stakeholder groups. Feel really, really good about where we're getting, and accomplishes what we want to accomplish, making sure we do what we need to do to give them comfort in regards to local control. But unfortunately, that is a pretty substantial committee amendment. Not sure everybody had a chance to really understand what the committee amendment did. But then we've got a few more changes that are coming that we're working with them on, and we'll get hopefully that in on seconds and get to a bill that everybody feels good about.
What other issue or issues next week are going to be some of the hardest to finalize, or going to take the most conversation?
That's a really good question. I mean, obviously we've got, we concurred on 1002, and we're working with our Senate partners on 1001, 1003, 1004. I know the gaming bill passed out of appropriations today, so we'll have conversations about that. I think our chairs have been really working well together. So, we're trying to limit the number of conference committees we're going to have. Hopefully we're going to get to as many concurrences as possible. But, it's always those things, just getting stuff in, because of germaneness issues. It's processy stuff, frankly, that gives you the most heartburn.
On the gaming bill, the Senate made a number of changes What are you looking for to make sure that the Rising Sun community is kind of has stability if that does move out of that area?
So I want to be fair. I did not look at all the amendment. I think I know the broad strokes on that. Well, look, it establishes a new license for Northwest Indiana, Northeast Indiana. I've got my mind on other things on Northeast Indiana, and they have. So Rising Sun they will be able to continue to operate as they're operating today. If Full House were to win that, they could then make a decision what they want to do on Rising Sun. I believe the Senate put in their bill a fund, some portion of the licensor fee would go into that would support a community of a closing casino. I've had lots of meetings for, I guess, 7, 8, 9 years with the good folks of Ohio County and Rising Sun, and we want to make sure we are doing everything we can to support them. And I think this is a pretty good compromise that we found.
What do you think about the push in the Senate Elections Committee to reduce the early voting period without public testimony? I
haven't really talked to anybody about that. I haven't talked to Chairman Wesco about that. Look, I'm very, very comfortable with our election laws as they are. I think giving people the longer opportunity to vote strikes me as a good thing. The more people that vote is a positive thing. So, but I haven't really gotten to hear the arguments on why they think that's important and necessary.
In situations like that, do you foresee some of these conference committees allowing public testimony? I know last year you guys kind of allowed some public testimony on certain bills.
Well, we encourage. We talked about it last year. I think 2 years ago, some of us weren't very pleased with how the conference committees went, and say, look, at least allow public testimony. It doesn't need or at least committee discussion. But if there's new content or something being moved in, give people an opportunity to talk. It shouldn't be just a gavel in, gavel out process. Look, I've ran conference committees where I've just taken committee discussion, and because the ideas had plenty of discussion in the public throughout the process. So I'm going to leave that up to the committee chair, but I think it's the conference committee chair, but I do think it's important that they have a committee where at least there's a discussion about what's taking place.
Mr. Speaker, one final question. You'll love this one. If you look at the new casino, football stadium in Hammond, Indiana, you're basically 10 minutes from Illinois, 10 minutes from Michigan, which basically means you're 10 minutes from legalized marijuana. That come into any consideration when you guys think about Hammond? I told you love this question.
Because thinking about Hammond, look, the site, the Bears chose the site that they think makes the most sense. We're obviously partners in that. I'm super excited for Mayor McDermott. I will tell you, one of my favorite series of days was working with the folks in Northwest Indiana to kind of bring this all together, and they've been fabulous partners. And so all I know is that there's a whole lot of reasons why to be in Indiana, and that might be near the top of the list, Jewel. So, but no, I want to be like the folks. Truly a bipartisan effort. It was, you saw that today. Truly bipartisan effort. State, local, and team partnership. The Bears have been phenomenal in these discussions. They truly want to be partners in Northwest Indiana. I think the local communities are so anxious to really take this investment and do something magical with it, and that's what I wish I could see what the world looks like in a decade, because I think it'll be pretty spectacular up there.
When could we expect some details on the land acquisition aspect of things? In a couple months? Couple
I think we got to sign some. This is a significant part of the process. We got to sign some contracts, but again, I think they identified in the second sentence of their statement where they're thinking about. I think it's not a great surprise in that area, and it's a phenomenal area. It's got, closer to it's close to downtown Chicago, right off the South Shore line. Great interstate access. Huge opportunity to do a heck of a lot more in the stadium. That's what I think Mayor McDermott, that's what I think everybody in Lake County is thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about is, what does it look like beyond the stadium? What's it look like the mayor said, is kind of city within a city, and how cool would that be? And just thrilled that we can be a partner in it.
With 1 week left, how would you juxtapose how the session started with redistricting, a very divisive issue, versus the Bears Stadium, which seems like it's bringing everybody together?
Well, look, we started in a little bit different way this year in December, and we went through a process. But look, I would tell people this all the time. We got great relationships and partners throughout this building, whether it's in the different caucuses or across the different chambers. And I think that's what comes through on these things. In Indiana, we get big stuff done, and it was awesome when we get big stuff done, and it's done in a bipartisan manner, which brings people together. Thank you, guys.
Speaker.